So let's talk about solution. I love this. There are so many choices out there they're all kind of all related. But I am so grateful to the people that have gone. Well, Dr. John Sarno, I thank him. I think a lot of people feel such gratefulness towards him because when you live a life of pain, and for some it's been 20 some years, and when there's a solution, and some people read the book and they just have almost a miraculous experience where the unconscious mind then realizes it's caught, the game is over, and now the person doesn't go after physical therapies to fix this. A lot of other people do therapy. And then the people that, uh, the next generation really is Dr. Howard Schubner, Dr. David Schechter, Dr. David Hanscom. Um, there are other doctors, and I don't want to leave anybody out, but there are people at a website called tmswiki.org. It's a wonderful website. Every time I go there, there is something else there for me. Every Saturday, they have a drop in chat, which is 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm on Pacific Standard Time, so that's noon. But it's worth dropping in. The people are so kind, and there's usually some, they don't give any medical advice, but what they do is give their own personal experience of what's worked for them. And so I get names of books. Alan Gordon, who is a great help, put a pain management program. It's really not managing pain, by the way. Um, it's a TMS recovery from the pain um, approach, and it's really short and sweet. It's a 21-day thing, and don't be deceived by how short and simple it is. It's actually quite powerful, and I would definitely go watch his videos. I would watch any of the videos. You just make a list, and on my channel, Eric, Erik Bohlin, Bohlnma, Eric Bohlin MA, I have watch lists of these. And you, so definitely, solution is expressive writing is probably one of the most simple tools available. Dr. James Pennebaker out of the University of Texas in Houston discovered that expressive writing was very therapeutic. And there's, I think, over 200 studies demonstrating this. And it's quirky in that we don't know why it works, but it works. Simply taking a sheet of paper and writing, and you know you're going to shred it, tear it up, and not read it. That's the rules. You're not going to process it, you're not going to show it to someone. That becomes something else. But when he discovered that even paperwork that his experimental subjects were filling out had a therapeutic effect, then he started to study just what is the effect of this type of writing. And I think the story goes is that he had college students who just for 4 days, only 20 minutes write each time they sat down their most painful experiences they'd experienced up to their life thus far. And then they knew that it was going to be shredded and torn up and no one would see it. They had wounds that I guess maybe wounds inflicted on the people, but it produced 80% quicker wound healing in those that did this expressive writing than those that did not. Incredible. Like, how did they even think to do that? So there are stories where people had all this horrible pain this life, and it comes to kind of a halt or even a slowdown by just writing. The person says, what do I have to lose? This is cheap. Yeah, it's not like a surgery that could actually injure me further, and it's not like a drug that's going to have side effects. I'm just going to take a piece of paper, pencil, or pen, and just write whatever comes to my mind. It's not going to be read, so you don't have to worry about punctuation or capitalization. It's not about that. You just get the thoughts and feelings out. And when I started doing this, it was a lot of thoughts, it was almost like Dear Diary. And then I realized that's not probably what they're looking for here. I would just write the feelings that were coming out. And I also was embarrassed by the feelings that were coming out. And then I go, aha, see, this is it. This is the goodest. This is why I repress these feelings. And in my mind, as a Christian, I also am encouraged not to think really evil thoughts. And I do in my heart think that having thoughts of harming people, not that I do, but if I were to encourage that, could it get worse? And maybe a lot of the research suggests that these people have almost this huge amount of rage. But they also say, but it's in a piece of paper or it's in a safety of a therapy session where the person's yelling at an empty chair. But I also felt like, yeah, but could that stir up more anger? Could it, because I think sometimes we should ignore things and not grow new neural pathways for that. But I also was suffering from chronic pain where all that anger could go down that path. So for me, I had to see this as detox. And then something changed for me. We have, and this sounds graphic, but we have bodily processes where we eliminate, and it's to get rid of these toxins. I don't need to hold on to this anymore. I just get rid of it, and we'll just say flush it down the toilet. Same thing here. This is meant to be getting this stuff out. You just write it from your heart. No one's going to look at it. It could produce feelings of embarrassment, but you're just getting it out. It's not the real you. And to me, I felt it's like a form of confession. So a lot of times when I'm writing, I'm saying, oh Lord, have mercy, please forgive me, but I'm just writing it out because that's what's there. I would feel better. I would sleep better. And I also got deeper insight to what my sins are to go down that path. I would understand that I am kind of petty at times, or I'm vainglorious, meaning trying to look good. What Dr. John Sarno suggested as a goodist, early Christianity saw probably as vainglory, trying to look better than one is. And not being overly emotional, I think, is praised in this culture. That a person who's hysterical, crying, angry, fearful, they're kind of looked down upon, like, yeah, get a grip. And I think there's a time and place for everything. Repressed emotions are more likely to come out in an unhealthy way than if you express the feelings daily. And so if the worst thing is I'm writing some ugly things down on a piece of paper and shredding it, but then I'm not carrying it around with me, well, I think that's the right direction to go. So look up Expressive Writing James Pennebaker. Watch those videos, really important. I would highly recommend the Unlearn Your Pain book. It's very well written, and I've read lots of books. Not only is it well written, what I mean by that is there's certain sentences that so well state what the problem is. It's really quite good. And I didn't really come at this thinking of it as a 28-day process. You could do it that way, but you just go step by step through this and interact with the book with a pen. And I chose to sometimes use the blanks for filling in things. Where is there something? And then there's other times where I just leave them open. And use pieces of paper because I want to shred what I'm writing. but then I can put in the actual structure. There are 3 things that John Sarno said that are good starting places. Make a list of all the childhood traumas or adverse events. Just write it out. And this could take only 5 minutes. It's not rocket science here, just write it out. It's not every event, just make a list of it. If you were sexually abused, write sexual abuse. If you parents lost their house in a fire, then just write that down. You don't have to get into the nitty-gritty details. That's what I kind of like about this. When you start to make the list, you start to go, wow, that is actually a lot. The way it happens is we so compartmentalize these things, we don't really see it all together. In fact, some of us kind of put them in time capsules, bury them in the yard, and then wonder why our yard is having problems. The next list is a list of current stressors. And just make a list of what those are. It could be financial, it could be your daughter's getting married, which is a really good thing, but it's a stressful thing in that it's something that most people haven't done before, and so there's a learning curve, and you want it to be the most important day of one's life, or at least for your daughter and son-in-law and a lot of people. You start to learn that you want to please a lot of people. You want to make a lot of people happy, and so then that triggers the feelings of, will this bouquet be good enough or whatever. The last thing I think in some ways is very important. They're all important, but this is a list of personality traits. This is what about me do I bring to the table that causes so much of the problem. So a lot of it could be perfectionism, holding on to things, unforgiveness, resentful, over-tasking. Like if we're going on a trip, well, why not wash the windows of the car and clean the car at the same time? Like doing more than one should do. Ignoring things, all the defense mechanisms, denial, repression. But you don't want to just go on a spree of how bad you are. It's not about that. But just make a list of those things that you think are troubling. What you'll eventually do is begin to look at those things one day at a time or one writing assignment at a time.